My name is Gustav Moen, and I am coming to you from Manitou Springs, Colorado. I'm a psychotherapist specializing in trauma-informed psychotherapy, training, and consulting. And I'm here to welcome you today to this YouTube channel that we're kicking off. What we're doing here is kicking off a channel that is aimed to do what? To learn about ourselves, to learn about behavior, to learn about why we do what we do. This channel is going to be about a lot of things, and hopefully I'll be able to bring a lot of these things to you in an entertaining fashion. I do tell stories, and hopefully stories will be engaging. I play music. Hopefully music is engaging. What kind of stories? Let's see. I might share stories about a woman who experienced an unexplained paralysis out of the blue. No accident, nothing physical happening to this woman who happens to be my wife, but a paralysis that takes a hold of a body without us knowing why. Wouldn't you like to know what happened? Well, if you stick with us, you might just find out. It's also a story about a man and his rage that grew to murderous levels. It's a story about how a car rolling through a stop sign might send someone into a sprint down the street, frothing from the mouth, to enact justice on an unjust situation. It's about learning this behavior. What's at the root of it? What we don't understand as most people, and what I didn't understand, is that the root of our behavior stems in the past. It stems from things that happened to us, and these things are left unresolved, and they continue to wreak havoc on our daily lives. And it happens to all of us. It happens to you. It definitely happened to me, and I'm going to be sharing my story. I'll be sharing my story and the stories of others who have given permission for me to share parts of their stories to help you learn, to help us all in understanding who we are and why we behave the way we behave. If that's not enough, this is a story about self-harm. It's the story about other harm, the harm of others. It's the story of addiction. I'm a person who started to rely on alcohol as a medicine back in grade school. It's a story about how addictions are really an attempt to solve a problem. We're going to learn about that attempt. We're going to learn that we all have addictions. They don't have to be substances. Many of them can be behaviors. Workaholics, exercise fiends. This is a story about sex, drugs, rock and roll. Who doesn't like that? And we will get into all of that. Music is healing. Music is also that lifestyle of rock and roll, right? Reckless. We're going to learn what's behind that. We're going to learn why so many great artists die so soon. We're going to learn about the harm of the self. I already talked about that. We're going to learn about anger, rage. This guy had a lot of that and is still working to allow that to go. But we're going to learn what's behind it. What's behind this rage? What's behind the tough guy image, which I had and which so many have out in the world. It's an attempt to find safety, to create a buffer. We're going to learn about road rage. I know nobody has this. I know no one who is afflicted with road rage. We're going to learn about that. We're going to learn what's going on in the system. Why is this occurring? If you want to learn why there are mass shootings in the world, stick and stay tuned to this channel. We're going to learn about disease. All the reasons we go to the doctor. I did say that with quotes. Doctor, you saw it. Western medicine. We're going to learn through story how the body doesn't work very well when it's dysregulated, when it is fighting for its life for years upon years. We're going to learn about hate, crime. Why do we commit crime? Why is there so much crime in the world? Why are all these prisons that are all over the place not fixing this problem? Crime is survival, and we would all do it, and many of us have. It's not about a bad person. It's about appropriate responses to inappropriate situations, and we're going to learn all about that. And speaking of prison, we're going to go there. I'm going to take you there. I'm going to share with you my experience with the prison system and my relationship with an individual who lives there. And with his permission, I will share some of his stories and experiences in hopes that we can all learn and understand behavior and understand how to heal together. That's pretty cool. We're going to learn about fear, guilt, shame, sadness. Man, why wouldn't you want to tune in to this channel? Okay, there's some good stuff. It's not all this awful, trauma, scary, bad stuff. Although, if any of that is in your life, by learning about it, we're actually going to learn how to heal from it. So stay tuned. But we'll also learn about happiness, joy, love, connection, finding the self, who we are, our authentic selves. That is awfully scary, I understand. It's scary for me, but it is necessary for us to heal. Now, I know healing is kind of a weak thing to do, but bear with me. You see, through the mind we create the world, but Dr. Gabor Mate, who I am a student of, he taught me before that the world created our mind. We're going to learn how the things that have happened to us promoted us to create some core beliefs in how to survive in the world. And in doing so, we had to depart from ourselves. When we depart the self, we call these adaptations. They're adaptations for survival, to get our fundamental needs met. The problem is when the loop is not closed in development, when traumas happen to us, which are simply overwhelming situations that weren't talked through, that weren't understood, that left us alone, fighting for survival. When these things happen, those adaptations we create, we get stuck in them. And although they did us a great favor, they allowed us to heal. They allowed us to survive, I should say, not heal. The garbage truck outside, which I'm going to actually be letting you know, I am going to be quite authentic on this channel, coming to you, sharing experiences, not being polished, making mistakes, being okay with mistakes, and understanding why someone might not be okay with making mistakes. We're going to learn why, and it's an attempt to survive. It's an attempt to be okay. The problem is when we live in this state of survival constantly, we don't live. We don't connect to others. Our relationships are poor. They're minimized. They're a fraction of what they can be because we're not present. We're looking for threat. We're trying to be something we're not. We're going to learn all about this. What's quite interesting is the mind creates this chemical cocktail to prepare us for the world around us. How does it know? It experiences the world around us. Now, not all of us have the same experience. Some of us had joyous experiences with all of our needs met. And in those cases, we are seeing a joyous, all of our needs met kind of world. For those of us who didn't, and this is never to criticize any parents out there, including my own, whom I love, mom and dad, love you. But it is to validate our experiences as individuals and what we didn't get. Again, this isn't blaming, but it is learning the truth about fundamental needs of a human system, and when those are not met, how we adapt. We weren't taught any of this. I wasn't. I know my parents weren't, and I'm sure down the line it goes. This isn't a guilt trip. This isn't a sympathy trip. It's not about pity. It's about learning the truth so that we can heal and understand these core behaviors, these core beliefs. They've stuck with us. We don't even know we're employing them. So let's learn to recreate core beliefs and understand that we belong. We deserve support. We deserve to be seen. We deserve to be heard. We deserve to take up space. We deserve to make mistakes. I've made some already, and I'm going to leave them in because that's authentic and that's okay, and I'm allowed, and I would never do this before. It shows I'm changing, and we can heal, and so can you. I have and continue to do so. So we're gonna try to keep this entertaining. We're gonna take you to prison, as I mentioned. Is that entertaining? Maybe. We're gonna take you to Kuujjuaq, where my wife and I went to work with the Inuit. So privileged and honored and humbled to be invited to watch a culture heal from the harms of a government. Pretty heavy, pretty amazing as well. Goosebump level stuff. We're going to understand how individuals work, how relationships work, how families work, organizations, school districts. I serve on a board of education. My wife has been in public education almost 25 years now. We're going to look into communities, city governments where we've trained, and learn about how those work, how cities, I said cities, communities, states, regions, countries, how we all work, how behavior works. This is kind of like when I was a kid and found out that in kindergarten, the teacher's book had the answers printed in there. And I was so excited to learn this. And today, when I understand behavior and trauma and the dysregulation of the system and what makes difficult situations difficult, I feel like I have the teacher's guide, the teacher's book with the answers, because once we know how behavior works, we know how everything works. Okay, almost everything. So I hope you'll join me in this journey. We're going to see where this goes. We're going to see where you take it, where I take it, where our experience together takes it. You know, I foresee us engaging. I foresee us in taking on issues that you all are experiencing and trying to understand what they are, how to work through them, how to heal. And hopefully through interesting and exciting and engaging topics and ways of presenting said topics. I hope you like the channel, subscribe, whatever it is you do with the technology required for you to keep coming back. I hope you offer input. I hope you share requests on how to make your life better. That's what this is all about. It's about when you heal, I heal. We are a part of a big system. We're all together. That is how it works. Quantum science, pretty cool. It's the quantum field. As Bruce Lipton would say, I am one node on a multi-trillion node network. I'm one node. And when I'm not doing well, you're not doing well. And when you're not doing well, I'm not doing well. So when we see someone hurt, we don't kick them in the head. We help them up. But we're going to understand why we might want to kick them in the head, why we might want to create an us-them situation so that we can bond with others. It does release oxytocin, which makes us feel good, but this is misguided. So we're going to learn how to regulate, how to live better lives. And I'm going to tease the men out there just for a minute because we tend to be macho. And I was one of these macho guys. And I just want to point out something. It's a little like this. Now, I have 3 Harley-Davidsons in the garage, and I will say that before I might not have shared this, my wife owns 2 of those. And both of her bikes have bigger engines than mine. I did have mine first, but she owns twice as many and a lot more horsepower than I do. Now, I have changed the oil on these bikes. I've wrenched on them. Those are manly things to do. So what I'm proposing to you is this. If you would wrench on a bike or you would tune up your car, you would certainly tune up the mind-body system, would you not? It's only manly. So I do hope you all join me. Follow me, like the channel. I look forward to the journey. I look forward to sharing my own story, the stories of others, making sense of life, making sense of ourselves, and improving the time we have here on earth. It's worth it. I hope you join me. And thanks for listening.